Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nello Reads channel. Our first Tales from Tech Support story of the day comes from kinda awkward IT guy. Gave my work to a coworker, got paid to play solitaire for half a day. At a previous job, I worked as a cycle counter at an old factory, which went out of business 2 years after this story happened. My direct supervisor was unpredictable. He would throw temper tantrums if any of his employees didn't listen to him, and other times I was pretty sure that he had no idea how to do the job that he was assigned. He even went as far as to give another one of the cycle counters his password so that they could approve their own counts. Back on track, each assembly line had its own stockroom, and 1 or 2 people to manage it, who the line workers would bill and check out parts from. There were a few stockroom clerks who would pretend that they didn't have any work so that they could spend all day doing personal things. Instead of checking their work to make sure that was true, like a supervisor should have, he approached me. Here's how the conversation went down. Approximated, of course, since this was almost 10 years ago. Stockroom clerks 1 and 2 don't have any work to do. Yeah, and what do you want me to do about it? Well, I'm wondering if you can give them the rest of your counts for today. They're not trained to do it, and if I give my work away, I won't have any for the rest of the day. Though I wouldn't mind going home early. I rode in with someone else who won't leave until 3. He sighed and left my office. I went out and did the actual accounting for the afternoon, and there's quite a bit of work to do once I was back at the computer, including checking the counts against what's supposed to be there, and if the count is lower, look at its history to make sure the part doesn't have an alternative location or an incomplete checkout, and so on. I didn't make it back to my office before I was stopped by the stockroom clerks just outside of my office, who I got along with and were good at their jobs. Supervisor is upset and on the verge of throwing a temper tantrum like he does. You should give the other stockroom people your work. So after I talked with him about it for a bit, I went back up to my office and called my staffing firm to clear it with them first. They okayed the order, so I went down and met Supervisor at the desk of the other 2 stockroom clerks. I watched them start to blindly enter the counts into the computer. I sighed and went up to my office and played solitaire for the rest of the day. My supervisor walked by on a few instances and didn't say a word. The fallout was a bit boring. There was a good backlog of corrections to deal with, which mostly I had to do. But a few weeks later, at the daily safety meeting, one of the head managers had stopped by to head it off. He discussed a few bullet points they added to the briefing. One of them was along the lines of, "And don't assign work to employees who aren't trained for it," while staring directly at the supervisor. Reprimands and write-ups were done in private between the parties involved, so I didn't know whether or not he was written up for it. But he was in a very bad mood for the whole week after the actual situation, so I think he may have been, if it wasn't something that happened in his personal life. I'm sure a lot of people listening to the story has had a bad boss or manager who you just wonder, how did they actually get this job? I think this story is a great example of that. Honestly, I'm a little bit jealous of OP though. Getting paid to play solitaire doesn't sound too bad, but I'm not jealous of the corrections he had to do. Our next story comes from Jernish. Next time you harass support, maybe reconsider? I worked as a technical support engineer, TSE, for a company that provides software as a service to car dealerships. Well, not as many salespeople are as evil as you'd think, though the Canadian ones were always somehow far more evil than the American ones, go figure. We did have a serious problem with the occasional male calling in and fishing the queue for one of our female TSEs. It would get reported to management, who would look concerned and serious, and of course, would do nothing about it. A couple years into the job, we released a new build of our main product, which wasn't just a shiny new user interface, but also featured a full elastic stack. For those of you not in the know, we now had a log of 99.998% of everything our servers did, and a frankly obnoxious list of information to go with it. We also changed to a handy-dandy new chat system, which logged the IP of the person who connected. 6 months go by and one of our female TSEs on my team complains in chat about Dan being back. Right away, all the other female members send their condolences. It seems Dan had suddenly shown up out of the blue a week ago and was a frequent chatter. They wouldn't provide any verifiable information and seemed to just get their jollies by harassing our female chat members. They'd spend so much time doing this, in fact, that they'd managed to figure out when each female TSE would cover a chat window. Our TSEs had been putting up with some particularly vile nonsense from this person, but because he never gave verifiable information, they assumed nothing could be done. Which would be true, but our new chat service now logged Dan's IP, and as a coincidence, we also logged IPs. What wonderful happenstance. So I messaged my manager, who could barely pull themselves from Facebook long enough to clock in, never mind any actual management work, and informed him I had an urgent project I needed to tackle. Routine for me, as I was always doing his work for him. 10 minutes later, I've matched Dan's IP to a username at not one, but two unrelated dealerships. 10 minutes after that, and I've got logs from no less than 14 inappropriate chats from Dan, which correspond to the same IP as a user Daniel, and a host of tickets from that same person. Turns out this Daniel was employed at dealership A, and was caught cheating their employer. Their user account at dealership A was deactivated about 3 weeks ago, and then a few days later, that same IP was used at dealership B, tied to a user with the same surname as Daniel. It seems Daniel decided we were to blame for him getting caught cheating, which was true. I'd gotten roped in by a customer success manager, an account manager for the uninitiated, to help their contact at dealership A confirm if they were being cheated. It may seem like a coincidence, but of the senior TSEs, I was the only one not assigned a VIP client, and so got assigned to handle all the critical issues the CSM team brought to us. Half an hour later, I'm in a meeting room with my director, the dealership B's CSM, the CSM director, and the COO to go over my findings. Everyone but my director is shocked at the comments they're reading, and flabbergasted at how clearly everything lines up. Our COO asks me flat out, how often does this happen? I tell him it's been something reported on by our female TSEs since I started here, but I'd not heard about it in a while. That said, I asked all our TSEs about it privately, and they confirmed there's generally one person at any given time who does this. I've informed them the next time they feel someone is abusing chat access, they can come to me, and I'll make sure it gets handled. And I've submitted a change of process to the director that establishes a process to ban any IP or phone number from our system if the person on the line harasses any TSE. COO throws a moderate death glare at my director, presumably because a TSE shouldn't be needing to write policy to protect support reps from harassment, and says to forward it to him so he can get legal to include something in our contracts going forward about it. I then get to sit in the room with everyone else while the COO personally calls up the owner of dealership B on speakerphone and has a conversation with him. He lays out everything, and informs the owner that this person is to not contact support ever again. The owner says that it won't be a problem. He calls in his general manager, and has them terminated on the spot. I was honestly surprised at how little resistance there was. We didn't even have to provide any of the evidence I dug up. I figure either this person was already accused of something similar at their work, or the severity of a COO having to call you up to complain about one of your employees' behavior is enough to go on. Anyway, I get to go back to support and deliver the good news. The change in process I submitted was expanded to allow any TSA to terminate contact with anyone for any reason. Our female TSEs were all called into meetings with HR, our COO, and our director, where they were given clear instructions by HR that our harassment policy extends to clients, and that if they report an issue of harassment to a manager and nothing happens, then HR is to be contacted immediately. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, I got called on to help a CSM read through some chat logs, which was, of course, a cover. Apparently, all the CSMs were ordered to go through their clients' chat logs. And anytime they found inappropriate behavior, well, I was really busy there for a month or so. Moral of the story, next time you harass support, maybe reconsider. I say this a lot, but anyone who works in any kind of support is a legend. There's just so many awful clients out there who treat support like human doormats. So I'm always happy to see at least a little justice happen. Our next story is from Bahamut Othman, not related to IT. At my current job, I'm a senior IT service desk engineer. My day-to-day is going through the tickets assigned to the service desk, SD, and following up on tickets with other engineers/operators. We're currently working on updating our IT service management, ITSM, since the one we currently operate on is no longer supported by the vendor and quite outdated, HPSM. The people I work with are generally pleasant, until this morning. Now, this is in the month of Ramadan. Where I live, everyone is fasting, and smokers/coffee drinkers are suffering from withdrawal, so I try to keep a pleasant and professional tone with everyone. Our cast is me, team members 1 and 2, TM1, TM2, user supervisor, and the department head, DH. First call with team member 1, 10:15 a.m. Hello, IT, good morning, how may I help you? I'm sorry to hear that. I'll look into it. Okay, so the ticket has been open for 10 minutes and is already assigned to a technician. Please wait for a call back as soon as resolution is possible. Second call with team member 2, 10:20 a.m. Hello, IT, go. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I'll update the ticket right now, sir. Yes. He just hung up on me. Third call with team member 1, 10:25 a.m. By this time, I was already curious, since it's rare for people to hang up on a call on my team members, and I was already looking at the call log to see who it was. Hello, Sir, there is no need to shout. Please calm down. Me, waving at him to mute the call. What's up? This guy called us a couple times yelling about a pending ticket? So, just update it and set a ping to the assigned group. I did that, but I'd rather not speak to this guy again. Okay, I got it. I'll give him a call and see what this is about. Okay, his extension is 1234. Good morning, this is Bahamut Othman from IT. How are you today? No, it's not a good morning. You people take ages to answer a call, then refuse to finish a simple request, and that has affected my ability to finish my tasks. I'm writing an email to the department head right now. What's your ID so I can CC you into it? Me, now I'm easy to anger, but I try to always keep a professional tone while I'm on the phone. My ID is 42069. May I ask what this is about? I can clearly see this has upset you, and I'd like to help you resolve this. I can't believe you people. What do we even pay you for? You're useless, all of you. Me, now since he's making this issue personal and is calling me and my team useless, I would like nothing more than to hang up and disable his password for a couple hours. But, of course, I can't. Sir, there is no need to make this personal. Please calm down and lower your voice. It's about ticket number 1234567, and it's been hours since I opened it. This is a breach of SLA. I'll make sure your department head hears of this. After looking at the ticket for a minute, it clicks. Since we share a ticketing system with the facilities department, this guy submitted a ticket by sending an email to IT@company, facilities@company, and the system fetched it and created 2 tickets, one in each queue. Meaning one ticket was sent to the service desk queue and one was sent to the facilities queue. Sir, this isn't related to IT. What? What do you mean it's not related to IT? I mean, we don't handle this kind of request. That's unacceptable. You have to resolve my request ASAP or I can't be done with my tasks. Sir, please call this number. They'll handle your ticket. I hang up and jump on HPSM to reject the ticket. In the closure code, I type "not related to IT" and close it. Moments later, an email notification pops up on my screen. It's user, and he's tagged my team leader, my department head, and other managers/senior staff, generally saying that service desk agents are unprofessional and refused to solve my issue, and I demand it to be solved this instant. among other choice words detailing how his nephew, who's still in elementary school, could resolve the issue in moments. My department head, who I now consider a legend, replies a few moments later. Not related to IT. Regards, department head. I had a crap-eating grin on my face when I saw multiple replies from managers questioning why they were tagged in this. The user supervisor replies, "Dear ITSD team, I apologize for user's behavior and will have him go through orientation training again. Regards, supervisor." By the time this was done, it was about 11 a.m., but you're probably wondering what his ticket was about. Broken wheel on a desk chair. Fix ASAP. Urgent. For some reason, in this guy's mind, this is somehow related to IT. Since at a desk you find a phone, a keyboard, a monitor, a mouse, and a computer. All IT items. So, logically, a chair is also an IT item. Some people find a way to ruin a good day no matter what. Thank God the rest of the calls that day went smoothly. What I think is so funny about this whole story is if this angry guy just explained what his issue was calmly over the phone, they probably would have been able to tell him right then and there, "Oh, you actually put in a ticket for the wrong department. Let me help you fix this." But because he acted like a man baby, he wasted everyone's time and hopefully got himself disciplined. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's stories and I'll see you in the next video.